I've only got 450 pounds left. How about it? I don't want to go into the sea again.
It's part of Hollywood folklore. The Navy aviator in distress, his jet low on fuel, attempting to return to the carrier. Will he make it, or won't he? When we left you, our group of DVs, distinguished visitors aboard the USS Carl Vinson, were climbing our way back to Vulture's Row to watch night ops. Before we were allowed out into the catwalk, phones, cameras, and other light-emitting gear were safely stowed.
It's pitch black. We couldn't take phones up, we couldn't shoot stills or video. Complete darkness, and to see these guys coming in at 130, 150 miles an hour and to land on this small platform in the middle of the ocean at night, it's just incredible.
John's description of the light conditions, spot on. It's hard enough to catch a wire on a moving target on calm seas in the daylight. Turn out the lights, add a pitching deck, and dangerous quickly turns into treacherous.
And I said, you know, you don't understand it now, but in about 20 minutes when people start trying to land on this, you're going to realize why I'm getting in this jet for you.
15 bolters or wave-offs so far.
Lieutenant Commander Brian Sunshine Sinclair was assigned to the Nimitz when the PBS documentary Carrier was made. And while he didn't make the final cut of the night landing scene, he knows the butterflies firsthand.
The flight schedule, the list of who's going to fly when, comes out the day before, usually at dinner time. And it's usually at dinner time that I start to get the butterflies, when I see my name assigned to a night flight.
A veteran of over 600 carrier launches and recovery, Commander Sunshine patiently walks us through final approach at night.
You can't even see the lights because the ship has to stay relatively dark. It doesn't want to get exposed, if you will, at night and be a big target, right? I'm going to grab it ever so slightly, just with just a very gentle touch, and then it's going to be what some people will call stirring the pot. So stirring the pot meaning we're making these very small corrections. Meanwhile, obviously, I'm not staring at my hand. I'm staring outside through the heads-up display at the aircraft carrier. In the landing mode, I'm thinking about smooth and continuous corrections to the aircraft. My throttle underneath my left hand has two parts to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these constant and continuous, very small corrections to the aircraft engines so that I can maintain a very stable platform. And I want to do everything I can to get that aircraft on the deck the first time.
Once safely on deck, pilots push the throttles forward, just in case.
When I touch down on the flight deck, and you're trained to go to full power when you feel weight on wheels, we call it, when you land on the boat, I was so excited, I closed my eyes and stayed at full power. And I did catch the wire, so the captain comes over the radio and says, hey, okay, Sunshine, you can throttle back. You're not pulling the ship along any faster.
In this high-tech era of artificial intelligence, drones, and robotics, one must wonder, why can't these planes just land themselves?
Well, it's funny you mention that. That technology actually already exists. With any kind of aviation, any kind of pilot knows you have to worry about degraded modes, or if there's any kind of system failures. So an ideal bird with an ideal boat has something we call mode 1, and it can actually, the plane will lock up with a radar system on the boat, and the plane is smart enough to be able to maintain that glide slope and that azimuth, so it can do it on its own.
Therein lies the catch-22. The problem with technology is you've become dependent on it, and in harsh conditions at sea, fragile equipment can frequently break down. Consequently, naval aviators must train as if that technology doesn't exist. Each successful landing leaves you
giddy like a schoolgirl. And then you know what, unfortunately.
Before we say goodbye to Commander Sunshine, we have to ask about the moniker.
I'm annoyingly happy in the morning, so I bounce out of bed at about 5:30, no coffee or caffeine required, and this is what you have to deal with. So in my first squadron, they weren't quite on that same timeline. So I would show up in the squadron, hey guys, hey, what's up? I'm ready to fly. They shut up, Sunshine.
In a blink of an eye, our 48 hours aboard the Carl Vinson were over. It was time to suit up and board our cod for the trip back to San Diego. It was our second such launch off the bow of the ship. I tried to record the first one on my cell phone, the sudden acceleration catching me by surprise. Second time around, I was determined to do much better. Alas, I hope one day to get a third crack at it, along with photographer Jose Martinez. Paul Rudy, KUSI News.